Hi guys, welcome to this video. Down the farm again today to work on the AE86 rear window louvers. Pretty cold start to be fair, but got Prodigy on, so always makes it a little bit better. Anyway, that's enough of that. So yeah, hopefully this video will show you the process of what I put into building my window louvers, and yeah, hope you enjoy it. Right guys, okay, so the bits that you'll need, or that I use to make my louvers, are some 25mm aluminium angle, and these make the side channels. Some aluminium bar. This is actually too thick, so I have changed it, but this is what makes the centerpiece, like the strengthening bar as I call it. So this is a test piece I did. So as you can see, it's not as wide and it's not as thick. So yeah, that's what I used to make the centerpiece. And then 8 of these. I have these cut, but these are 4 inches wide. And the reason I use 8 is because one of them is used for the plate which sits at the top, which holds the 2 hinges which allow me to attach the louver to it. So let's get into it. So yeah, I measure this angle is basically the angle of the rear window seal, so it continues down at the right angle. So what I do is I bend these in the bender, and unfortunately because of this bend I cannot then bend this bit in the bender here, so I just use the good old vice, and it's because it's aluminium, it's relatively easy to bend. So I'll just set this up in the bender, and I will yeah, I'll continue from there. Okay, so a couple of little G clamps, pretty relatively simple enough. Straight bar here which comes with the bender itself. So as you can see, that 60-degree line there is just lined up with the crease just along this edge here. And what I've done already, because I've worked it out previous, is you can just about see a line there, and it's poor on the camera, but a line there. Now when those two line up, that's a 30-degree bend, which is what I'm looking for. So yeah, hopefully I could do this with one hand. So we just lift up on there, and hopefully you can see that line's now matched up. So what I do is I just go past, and with a little bit of movement you can see it lines up there perfectly. So fingers crossed that should be at the angle that I wanted. So there you go, there is the bend. Now I double check that, so this bend here should be 30 degrees. And there you go, 30 degrees. Okay, so what I've done is I've laid it in the vise, clamped it up along that line there. So this is the angle I require for it to sit flush against the side of the rear window seal. And I literally just bend this over by hand. So what I'm looking for roughly is the piece that's in here will roughly line up to that angle. So once that's bent up, that should be, give or take, relatively straight. Right. And here we go. So as you can see in the vise there, bit I clamped, and that will be trimmed. That's just excess. That's our 60-degree angle bend just here, and as you can see, that is relatively vertical to match that clamp in there. And I'll do that on both sides and lay it on the car and move on to the next one. Okay, so here you go. That's one of the slats done. It's probably easier to see it this way. So you can see the two angles there, which I've bent there. So just add this to the others. And as you can see, it's starting to take shape. Now there's 7 altogether on this one. As I say, it'll be different depending on what car you're doing, all the angles, etc. as I've mentioned. But what I've worked out is that it's about 4 inches wide, and that allows you to have 7 perfectly fit right at the bottom of the seal. So it's a bit of luck that they're all done on 4 inches. So yeah, 2 more to go, and I'll have all 7 slats ready to trim at the ends here. And then what I've got here is what was originally some just aluminium angle. Oh, try and get focus. There you go. And yeah, so I crimped it in the vise, so it's almost made like a channel for itself. The edges are all round to match this here, the seals, top and bottom. But in a nutshell, that will fit like that in between, just inside of the seal, and these will slide into this channel, and I will rivet them to hold them in place. So yeah, that's another thing I have to do. So yeah, as I said, I'll get the other 2 done, and I'll show you the next stage after that. Okay guys, what I've just done is just trim the excess off of these louvers on both ends using the circular saw. So I cut it to 15mm, and I'll do that on all 7, and I'll show you the next stage. Okay, so that's these all trimmed, as you can see. A little bit of finessing needed, but do that at a later stage. Okay, next I've marked out the angle of the top just here of the windowsill, so I know where to cut it so it fits nicely. And I'll get on and do that for the top and the bottom, and I'll do that for both sides. Right, just done both sides. That's the top and the bottom. Let's go see if it fits. So this is the driver side one, and lovely. So that's one done. Just to do the other side. And there is the passenger side at the top. There you go. Obviously that'll fit a little bit higher, just like that. But yeah, that's those 2 done. So really simple process, really. Okay guys, that's the top one fitted. Not fixed like with rivets and stuff, but it's just so I can get an idea that these bits here will stay against the seal all the way down to the bottom. Same on this side, because this one, the top one, determines where the next one will fit, etc., all the way down to the bottom. So I'll crack on with that, and I will yeah, I'll show you when they're all attached. Okay guys, got it all into the channel. I've also put some rivets here, and I'm not quite sure yet, but I may either do two or a single rivet for these, and then a double at the end, because pretty much the bottom and top will hold all these in. These won't go anywhere. So I may or may not or rivet them. I haven't quite made my mind up. But anyway, as you can see, it's on the car. All the slats are in. So what I'll do now is make this center piece, which I'll rivet on the back of these, and it will hold these rigid for a bit of extra strength. So I'll show you how I do that now. Okay, fast forwarded a bit, but this is the centerpiece that I made, and I just used the vise to bend these. So I've gone for a 2-inch or just over 2-inch lift for each of the slats, because the slats will sit on these bits. The length of these are 90mm, so a little less under 4 inches, which is what the slats are, just so the end bit tucks in, they don't protrude. So, and that's that. And how that will fit, if I take it over here, so it will fit on the underside of these louvers, but just to give you an idea, that will just sit like that underneath. And once again, I will rivet these. I'll probably use 2 rivets on each one, and as I say, that will just give each louver a little bit of strength. And yeah, it's getting there slowly but surely. Okay, what we've done is marked a line, centre line of the top and bottom louver, setting my protractor to, well, using my protractor to set this to 90 degrees. So yeah, set that along there, drew a line. So I now know that that's straight, ready for this to fit like so. So what I'm going to do now is measure probably 1 inch in, 1 inch in from the top and the bottom, and I'll do that on each of the louvers. Drill through this, and I will rivet that on. Okay, got that done. So, riveted the centerpiece on there. You can just about see it there, nice and rigid. Okay, so this is what I've made for the top of the windscreen. It's 2mm thick aluminium. This one's already been powder coated because it's for a previous louver. But what I've done is I've put some clinch studs in and just welded them slightly as well. As you can see there, I've ground them back just to make sure they're secure. And I've cut these down, and yeah, just basically nut them on. And that's both sides for that one. And yeah, this goes into the top of the rear window, just in here, and fits up in there and into the sides. And then I can attach the louver to it, so it works on a hinge system, so you can get to the glass and clean it as and when you need to. That's all fitted. Rivets there, rivets there, as I said. There you go. So you can clean the glass. Just got to get it fitting a bit tighter down here, and then drill a hole, and then use these fixing plates I produced. They'll sit down in the seal here. That's that stud come through. So what I mentioned earlier was these plates that I had made, or that I made, sorry, slid into the seal, and what I've just done there is added a tiny little bit of red paint, and on the other side here, just a little bit of tape. And what I'm going to do is just lower this to where I want it, and just press. So hopefully it is left, there you go, a red mark, and that's where I know where to drill for that to line up. So I'll now drill the hole in this. I'll do the same for the other side, and yeah, I'll do that now. There you go. So holes drilled, obviously plates underneath, and what I use is just a 10mm domed nut, and that's done on both sides now. There you go, that's that side. So it's completely fixed to the car. So we've got the hinges at the top, which obviously secures it to the car itself under the seal, and then these guys here on both sides to stop it and just to secure it to the car. And yeah, so as I say, the reason I like the hinged idea, or the reason I chose to use the hinged idea, is yeah, you just simply remove these nuts both sides, lift it up, and you can access the glass, so you can give it a clean, etc. And yeah, this can then be lowered and fixed back into place, and yeah, it's going to be as secure as it needs to be. So what I'm going to do now, I have decided I quite like the look of the rivets, so I'm going to do the 2 rivets and secure these. That's what I'll be doing next. Just wanted to show you guys these actually before we move on. These are something that I made just as a test piece. So a bit of steel bent over with a bit of stainless steel bar, which I've had powder coated, little rubber bung at the base. And basically these are little stays which will hold the louver up. They'll fit roughly like that, and you can just swing them out like so, and it will hold the louver up whilst you clean the glass, etc. So I might or may not use these, but I've made them anyway because I thought it might be quite a cool idea. So yeah, we'll see. Okay, that's all the holes drilled for the rivets, all the way down to the bottom there. So yeah, done 2 holes per slat, 2.5mm hole. I use 2.4 aluminium rivets. So I'll get that riveted up. This side I've already done. So this is with the rivets in. I think it gives it quite a cool look. So yeah, I'll get on and do that side, put the rivets in, and then we'll move on to a cool little product I use to finish these ends up. Right, this product I was on about, Durafix Easy Weld, and honestly these are brilliant. So I'm no aluminium welder, takes a lot of skill, but this is for any hobbyist DIYer. It's sort of, in my opinion, it's more brazing than welding, but the finished article is, you wouldn't tell the difference once it's been ground flat and that, and it's so strong. They actually say that this is the weld itself is stronger than its parent material. So the material welding together will bend before this breaks. Used it before, really good kit. You get the brush with it, it's really inexpensive. So get stainless steel wire brush just so you can prep and clean the surface, because obviously aluminium needs to be super clean. You get 3, I think they're 45cm length rods, and all you need is a blowtorch. So that's literally it. So I will set up and I'll get the aluminium to the temperature it requires, which is around 700 degrees. And yeah, I'll show you how I use this on the ends of the louver. Right, so just clean this end up here using the stainless steel brush. Relatively simple, just clean up all the I suppose sort of fingerprints, or you know, the dirt within the metal. They do recommend maybe using like an acetone to make sure it's super clean, but I don't do that. I just use the brush itself and crack on with it basically. So what you need to do is heat this up to around about 700 degrees, which will allow this flux cord to melt. And yeah, you just fill it in, and then we'll grind it back with the grinder, and I'll show you the result. Okay, so just finished applying the easy weld to this lower portion here. It's not a bad job considering I'm doing it on the car really. So I'll let that cool down for a couple of minutes, and I will use the flap disc just to well, neaten it up really and make it look more presentable. This side I've already done. There you go. Just closes up that channel. To do the top two, I'm going to have to take the louver off. So I'll finish tidying this one, and then I will yeah, take the louver off and I'll do the other two. Okay guys, that's the ends done with the easy weld. The top corners, that's all 4 done now. And yeah, this will now be sent away for powder coating. And what I tend to like to do once it's been powder coated is these bits down here, both ends and the centerpiece. I have some sticky back foam, which I'll put down there, just so it sits on the glass without vibrating, and it's not metal on glass. So yeah, I'll do that once it's powder coated. Just to give an example, this is one that I made previously, and this has been powder coated in satin black. And this was carried out by a good friend of mine, Isaac, who owns the company Rims Carnated. He's a specialist wheel refurbisher, and yeah, he does powder coating and polishing and all sorts, and he kindly supports our channel. He carried out these for me. So these were my early spec AE86 wheels. They're originally a 5J, and they're now an 8.5 on the rear and 8 on the front. He machined the original lip off and managed to have these wider lips welded, and he fully polished them for me, and they look really good. And yeah, really happy with those. So if you're looking for that sort of service, etc., then definitely hit him up. It's worth a call. But other than that, guys, that's me done. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please like and subscribe to the channel. We've got some really good content coming up, which I'm sure you'll enjoy. So yeah, thanks for watching, and hope to see you in the next one.